pilfered corpses stitched expertly together, the cold flesh inanimate on the metal slab, a bolt of life-giving electricity, a nightmare amalgam revived, and a man-made monster born. Frankenstein, or the modern Prometheus, is regarded by some as the first science fiction story, and moves away from the supernatural monsters, the aforementioned vampires and werewolves, to the first monster created by the actions of a man. While the afflictions of vampirism and lycanthropy are acquired similar to communicable diseases, Dr. Frankenstein creates the first artificial monster, being forced to confront the creation that cannot possibly live up to his expectation, and, as a result, abandoning the creature. I am not sure if I can think of another work of fiction which captures the nuance and complexity of this dynamic. Perhaps the anime Ghost in the Shell, but the outlook on transhumanism, in my opinion, is a lot more optimistic, not questioning if science has gone too far, but rather how do we deal with the consequences of emergent technology, and artificial intelligence in particular. The monster, often incorrectly called Frankenstein, is not given a name in the story, but has inspired such a legacy of uncomfortable experimentation in fiction. It is tempting to talk about the stitched creations of Geralf from Magic, but we all know why everyone came to see the video. Dr. Frankenderp! The card is another take on Crystal Seer, being a turn faster since it does not have to be flipped and is a target for emergency teleport, although it does not provide material card advantage, just virtual card advantage in the form of card selection. Alongside Magical Scientist and Kozaki, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has plenty of mad scientists deficient in ethics, and one of their creations was Cyber-stein. And this card truly deserves the name of monster, as it was the menace of 2006, warranting an emergency ban list. This card might provide the most tempo out of any card in the game at the time, easily special summoning a 5,000 attack point monster. When combined with board clearing effects, and an attack doubling effect such as Megamorph or Limiter removal, this card made for very consistent OTKs. I remember first reading about the card from Beckett Magazine of all places, but we also had a few copies floating around in our playgroup. I want to tell the anecdote of my one and only interaction with Cyber-stein. My opponent goes first, summons Cyber-stein, sets a couple face down cards, activates the effect to summon Dragon Master Knight, then ends turn. I activate Change of Heart and attack over Cyber-stein for game. Then the best part, my opponent moves Cyber-stein into the side deck, and I never saw him put it back into the main deck. That was one of the very few games I won as a kid, but I will show off more of my baffling misconceptions later. Even in today's metagame, Cyber-stein is scary, with a combination of Brain Research Lab and a type-changing effect like DNA Surgery. The card can special summon even more fusion monsters from the extra deck, which can lead to FTK strategies, something that even the 2006 version of the deck could not manage. On a meta-narrative level, Cyber-stein is beautiful, since it is a monster which unexpectedly wreaked havoc, somewhat parallel to the story which inspired the card's name. It is not hard to argue that Dr. Frankenstein is the monster of the story. Ignoring both scientific conventions and morals, the obsession-driven man is blinded by ego and revels in his success, only to feel the shame of perceived failure and recklessly abandon what he did not immediately understand. Frankenstein epitomizes some of the worst aspects of man, aspects which are exaggerated in the last icon of Victorian horror, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The duality of man expressed in the innocent and dark personas. Where have I heard that one before?